Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Let's Talk Marketing with Nathan A. Webster podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today, I would like to focus on, and I should say, we like to focus on TikTok and Snapchat for business with my main man, the godfather of marketing and PDX, Kent Lewis. What's up, Kent?
How's it going? Good to be on the show as always.
Man, I am happy to have you. You are going to close out the year of 2020 as we talk about the next wave of digital marketing or platforms, however you want to talk about it. What do you like? What do you think is in store for us when it comes to the platforms?
The last 5 years, we've promoted the core big six platforms as a best practice. Our clients need to be on those platforms, individuals, brands, you name it. And
Hmm.
the obvious ones are the Facebooks and the Instagrams, uh, Twitter, YouTube. Much less so obvious is Pinterest, and for businesses, LinkedIn is obviously the top platform. But even consumer brands need LinkedIn for recruiting and just credibility and brand management. So it's important to be on those big six in some way for any audience, for any brand, if nothing else, to shape and control your brand and claim it before somebody else squats on your brand profile name. So I mean, those are key elements, but there are some other newer platforms, and by new I mean for old folks like me, WhatsApp, um, TikTok, and Snapchat. Now they've been around for years, at
Yeah.
least Snapchat and WhatsApp. And WhatsApp more of a peer-to-peer platform. Snapchat known for as a peer-to-peer platform. But even 3 or 4 years ago, I saw it's got to be 3 or 4 years ago, I saw Bacardi talk about what they've been doing on Snapchat, and I'm like, what? They did a presentation here in Portland at Wieden and Kennedy, or no, at RGA. No offense to RGA, should have thought of that first, but they hosted it, and it was just interesting to see. Like liquor brands have limited ability to reach customers, so they need to get creative. So that's why they were an early adopter. And then on the WhatsApp side, I met a Latino gal that she was using streaming on WhatsApp to communicate, kind of an English speaking WhatsApp news channel for Latinos in North
Mm.
America. And she found that it was a really good platform for her to live stream on. And I hadn't even thought of it, or wasn't even really aware that WhatsApp had live streaming. And again, this conversation was like 3 years ago. So be it as it
Wow.
may, a majority of our clients are not aggressive, nor does it feel like a good fit for them to be deep, particularly B2B brands and some of our consumer brands that just don't have the bandwidth or the resources. But the way I've justified not getting deep in Snapchat, WhatsApp, and TikTok for our clients is that their audience isn't tweens, or even arguably teens. A majority of our clients,
Hold on, hold on,
95%.
hold on. You used a big word that people might not understand. What are tweens now?
Tweens are, yeah. So it's the preteens. So I mean, basically, I'd say eight to 10, 8 to 12, and then although teenage years start theoretically at the double digits, 13ish, I would say. So it's 10 to 12. So 13 to 18 are the teens, but I consider tweens for myself. Although we could Google tween definition, is to me it's probably 12 to 15, 16. And then to me,
Hmm.
teens are like 16 to 20, 16 to 19. So, but that's just for our clients. Most of our majority of our clients are not trying to reach underage folks. Now, they're children, under 18 have different marketing rules and a lot of extra protections and safety and privacy issues. So we generally don't mess with that. But it's different if you create content and teens are gravitated towards it by following it. That's something. So really, the secondary caveat is if you are targeting early adopters of Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, then TikTok, Snapchat, and WhatsApp are relevant. It's just what kind of content then would you be creating? And again, a lot of our clients are outsourcing content development, whether it's us or somebody else, and because they don't have the resources to this day. I mean, it used to be you might outsource a blog post, And then in previous years, you might outsource just social media management, community management. But I'm still surprised brands are tending to outsource a lot of content that I personally, even as an agency owner, believe the voice should be from within.
Right.
Conversations on social should be with employees versus third party. But outside of really like companies that are just there to business process outsource. So our approach at Anvil has been to train, to provide strategy and support rather than creating that content. But so that means that for a majority of our clients, they're either really advanced and have a team that are already in these platforms, or they're so far behind and so limited and with budget and bandwidth that we'll probably not get to those platforms. But more than anything, the customer, the end user, the target is who should drive that priority. And our clients are not prioritizing sub 18-year-olds. So those platforms are not quite as important.
Well, which I think is a mistake in some respects, because I think here's where they get marketed to, whether they have put their correct age on it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I know my kids are guilty of it. I'm like, how'd y'all find that out? And they, there's no verification of a birthday when they sign up for these channels. But this I will say new way from the tweens to the millennials, they are consuming this, and on top of that, they have some influence on the way the boomers spin, or where they go to. Especially when I think I went to Nike. I went to Nike the other day or last week to get some new shoes, and I saw these boomers just buying some 11s. I know they're not buying the Jordan 11s for themselves, and they had some baby shoes for their grandbaby. So it's like, these are the things that I think larger brands, I think, got to get on top of it. Like you were saying with the
Mm-hmm.
Bacardi and the alcohol, you got to continue to promote all the way down. I get it. It's easier to just stay within your lane in your comfort zone. But if you're not on Snap, if you're not on WhatsApp doing something, or not WhatsApp, yeah, you got to be going WhatsApp here soon, because they're going to start opening their ad platform, because right now it's not available. They were supposed to come out with it, but they're not promoting on it just yet. But TikTok is like, this is where Snap and obviously Facebook and Instagram are not able to do. And I think I saw somewhere that there are more views last month in November 2020 on TikTok than there were on YouTube, which is a crazy stat. And I can't remember where I heard it from, but I was like, oh, I gotta check that out. How you trying to say that YouTube has a major competitor now? Which, who would have thought that would have happened in 2020?
Yeah.
But I think that's where if bigger companies don't realize that, they have to also create content, not just their own content, but user generated content. And I think this is where they're missing the mark.
Yeah, so let me just elaborate on that. So you are totally on point, to be honest. I get stuck in my old ways. I've been doing digital since '96. I should be getting a gold watch from somebody. But there's a downside of that. I don't bring the youthful enthusiasm and the with itness. I'm not woke, or as I might say, jiggy, which is probably a 20-year-old term from Will Smith. But be that as it may, earlier this year, as of June, the TikTok statistics is that around a third of TikTok active users are in the US, because it started obviously in China.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of by age, the share of users, it's primarily age 20 to 29, followed by 30 to 39 at 16%. So a third are 20 to 29. So what I want to know, the 32% are 10 to 19, teens and tweens. 30% are 20 to 29, 16% 30, 13% in the 40s, and over 50 is 7%. So it validates, this chart is from June, from Statista. So that, I'm guessing, if I were to look, I would say that the growth since June has been in the older demographics, if it follows every other platform. Remember, Facebook used to be college kids. Now there are no college kids on Facebook. It's all college kids, parents, and people like me that got in early, like and like, I don't get this. And now I'm like kind of the bell curve, right? As a Gen Xer is kind of the Gen X and boomers are Facebook for the most part. And
Right.
then there's Snapchat, right? So by comparison, there are a ton of users, but the demographics are the 69% of Snapchat users are 13 to 17-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
62% are 18 to 29-year-olds. So
Yep.
again, validating that the age-wise, it's hugely skewed, and it's massively in the U.S. and a little bit in India. It's probably 80-70% U.S. users, over
And
100 million users.
I think that's hard for a brand that has been well established on digital, maybe not in social, even, but have been able, especially a service oriented organization, to say we have no business on Snap. There's, what's in it for us to do a filter? Doesn't make any sense. Or why should we be promoting on Snapchat? It's like you got from, I would say, 18, the legal age you can promote to 30-year-olds, even early 30s, barely. But you have a great opportunity, especially if it's a bank, if it's a school, especially schools. They should be on there if they want to increase their enrollment. But they just think like, oh, it's not for us. It's not the type of user we want. It's like, where do you think they go to get their entertainment? They're not signing up for Xfinity or Dish. They're on the Hulu. They're on Netflix, and that's all the places you're gonna find them if you want that quick little 6-second video, just real quick. And I think that's the hardest thing, because they have to put in work, and the people that making those key decisions, they all have, like me, got white hair in their beard, and or on top the silver foxes, and they have they have no idea what's happening on Snap. But I think that's going to be the huge miss moving into 2021. I think you're going to see people or companies start to separate from the pack, the ones that are using those platforms.
Yeah, yeah. So for instance, before we go into WhatsApp, TikTok is, according to eMarketer, October of this year, so it's fresh. TikTok users by country, 65 million users in the US versus 22 million in Indonesia, 16 million in Russia, et cetera. They don't have China data, I believe. So
Mm,
I assume that dwarfs the US. But the US is, again, like 70% of the market outside of China for TikTok. And that's newer data. But then looking at WhatsApp, so if you look at the different charts, Snapchat versus WhatsApp and age groups, so I mentioned TikTok is 10 to 19 is the biggest user group with almost a third at 32.5%, followed by 20 to 29-year-olds at almost 30%. And it goes down to 7% over 50. Compared with WhatsApp, is skewed older by kind of 10% points higher. So whereas TikTok, whereas TikTok is like a third of them are the 15 to 25-year-olds. Is that no 10 to 19-year-olds? It's only 19% 15 to 25 for WhatsApp. WhatsApp is primarily 26 to 35-year-olds. It's odd that the statistic has different age groups for this survey. At 27%. And then it goes down to about the same at 36 to 45. But over 50 years old is 13% to 15%. So it's double the use for older folks is WhatsApp. And I think that's solely because it's a utilitarian tool. Snapchat, I still don't freaking get it. My son has 600 snaps in a row with his buddy, daily snaps. So for 2 years, they've been using taking a daily snap and sharing with each other. Absolutely useless. TikTok, useless entertainment. WhatsApp, powerful video conferencing and messaging. So it makes sense that the older audiences would find more value. Question is, what do brands do with that, right? So WhatsApp, I think, makes sense as a B2B communication platform. TikTok, B2C primarily. Brand awareness and engagement. If you look at what happened with the, Ocean Spray set the bar for how brands should interact. So instead of pure influencer marketing, which we've talked about in previous podcasts, is that Ocean Spray saw a skateboard guy, influencer, out of California, drinking Ocean Spray and listening to Dreams and singing along, lip syncing to Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. And it went viral on TikTok, and then it went viral on Instagram. And very early on, Ocean Spray bought him a pickup truck full of a year's lifetime supply of Ocean Spray. So what they did right is they got to understand his situation. He lived in a trailer. And you know, he didn't even have a car, I believe, or his car was a beater. They get him a new truck. And then I believe he just got a new house. So, you know, they activated the hell out of him, but in an authentic, relevant way. And that's the challenge. A lot of influencers, we're working with a few right now. It's not, you know, the lack of authenticity, lack of professionalism. We're finding they're not the savviest ones are prima donnas. The others that are approachable are incompetent in how they manage their finances and how they do their reporting. So there's a long way to go on influencer marketing. So I think brands should go direct to people that are authentic users. And I proposed this for years, but Ocean Spray did it beautifully. And other brands are following suit, looking for activating fans. I told Leatherman Tools.
Local brand.
Yeah, 12 years ago, I told them back, so YouTube was around, Twitter was getting started. So really the way you interact with social was what I know from back in doing social efforts with the music industry when it was chat rooms and bulletin boards and forums, and that was it, right? There were no social platforms that we have today. And so I took that approach, and I found some great insights by just harvesting information and doing searches for blog posts and forums and conversations about Leatherman Tools. But I went on YouTube and there was a guy from Malaysia that had a well-oiled Leatherman there. He was using it like a switchblade, you know, like a butterfly blade, like, you know, scissor, and then, you know, screwdriver. And it was amazing. And what made it amazing wasn't just a skill. It had 5 million views 12 years ago. That's like Justin Bieber level. And so I said, what are you doing to activate this guy? Send him a diamond encrusted Leatherman, like do something. And they're like, huh? They didn't know who he was. They didn't know what it was about. So, you know, I'm, you know, an early adopter of common sense, really. And so Ocean Spray just took an advantage of a influencer on a newer platform, and then it transcended platforms to Instagram and then to the mass media, right? Because it was authentic as all get out. And then Fleetwood Mac, Mick Fleetwood, he did a joke on it. Other people, Mick Fleetwood skateboarded and sang along. You know, it just, everybody gets involved. It's beautiful. And the key is it has to be the right time and the right brand in the right way for that to work. But again, I think that's what TikTok is about. Snapchat to me it's about AR. It's about big consumer brands and alcohol and other brands that are limited on how they can reach out. It concerns me that, you know, I'm watching Bacardi talk about what they're doing on a predominantly teen platform, kind of like the old days of Camel cigarettes, right? So, but be that as it may, it was still interesting to see what they were doing, even if there's moral ethical issues around it. You can decide.
Yeah, and for those that don't know what AR is augmented reality, and no, it's all good. Another brand that Facebook owns, Oculus. You know, I'm starting to see some more push on Oculus, which is the VR, you know, a bit different virtual reality. But I think here's where we are now coming into that stage and era where I think education definitely has to start using it, because in the business world, they're starting to use it. And I should say gaming. Gaming has started to use it and getting some more sales. Even though Oculus is considered a fail for Facebook, I think they're trying to do their best to, you know, make it a springboard it. But I'm starting to see some commercials, because part of Facebook, in my opinion, they have dubbed themselves as a media company, which I 100% get. But with their recent lawsuits, especially them jumping on the bandwagon of attacking TikTok, they understand that they got to do a little bit more work in regards to becoming a media company. But with those other assets that you have, you got to focus on those assets, which I don't think they've done a good job, because TikTok, I think for a lot of people, people would say, don't download it, because once you download it, you're going to be addicted and you can't turn it off. No one has ever said that about any other platform. When Facebook was confusing, Twitter is like all this, like from the timeline of the rants of nobody wants to be on there. But TikTok, you don't even need to have like an account of where you fill out a whole entire profile like you have to do with the others. You just start scrolling, and Instagram is kind of like that, but you got to sign in. TikTok, hey, you just go on a couple and it's like, okay, and they get you real good to where like, oh, before you see the full video, just do this. And so I think TikTok is really onto something. And for those that want to generate and create their own videos, they give you every tool in the book. So you don't need to download the Creative Suite from Adobe. You don't need to have experience in doing any video editing. You don't need to have those types of skills because they have already embedded it in there for those folks, with Sarah Cooper with doing the Donald Trump skits. But I think for these new brands, like you were saying, they're going to start activating some of these people that say, hey, you've been making some awesome content. And the way, of course, the more experience you have is the better. I'm not trying to say go on and create anything, because some of the well scripted videos, they do extremely well. And you can tell the ones that just didn't put that much thought into it. But I'm gonna double down, like you said, it's brand awareness, the top of the funnel. It's not about getting conversions anymore. It's how many people can you get to start to recognize and know who your brand is. Because now with Amazon, with Prime, I don't see their commercials anymore. They're not promising 2-day ads because people know that they are the beast, and you can't go wrong with Amazon. So they're like, they don't need to put any more commercials out. They know or people know who they are. So especially like coming out of Delta Park, I was driving down, I saw literally about 50 trucks, no lie, exaggeration, coming out of the loop. I'm like, goodness gracious, they are an army.
Yeah. Yeah. And, they just made it to top 3 most respected brands in a recent survey. And I will, let me bring that up. I'm sharing it with my team from Marketing Charts, basically the highest ranking brands among adults in 2020. So this is YouGov's brand index of quality, value, satisfaction. So it's very comprehensive. And just so you know, the top brands, and I can send you this link after.
Okay.
The top brands, some of these surprise me. I'll give you $100 if you can name the number 1 top brand among consumers. Again, based on quality. Let me see my notes here. Based on quality, value, satisfaction, and reputation.
Netflix.
Dude, Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. Oh,
yeah, right. And then the next one's even more stunning as compared with Amazon at number 3 is Dawn dish soap. DAWN. Dawn. Can you believe that?
No.
I mean, dude, who cares? It's soap. How can you love soap that much? I mean, good God.
And both of those purchases are less than $5.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? So holistically, people think of Band-Aid. Well, Band-Aid, you're soothing of something. Dawn, I guess you're cleaning. Maybe that's moved up because of COVID. I don't know. Okay. And then Amazon 3. Number 4, Hershey's. Number 5, Clorox. Number 6, M&M's. 7, Netflix, your guess. 8, Lowe's. 9, Quaker, and 10, Home Depot. Who would have thought the Home Fix-Its would be in the top 10? Wow. I have no, I don't think of them in my top 50 probably, but if they are solving, like that bulb is out, like I had to rush to Lowe's the other day to get a bulb that burned out, and it was a safety issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
For lighting up a carport because somebody had been breaking into wandering around the carports at night. So be that as it may, like they are solving a problem, but all of the M&Ms, so Netflix solves boredom, M&M solves possibly boredom or, snack, Hershey's. But, it's interesting that these are from all different types of, cleaning, snacks. Home Fix-It, Quaker Oats, number 9, or Quaker brand.
And what's crazy is with Band-Aids and Band-Aids and Dawn, they don't even have a storefront. They're just on a shelf. So talk about not having to pay for the real estate of, and even I think what Dawn is what Procter and Gamble, but it could be Band-Aid as well. I'm not sure, but they don't have to pay for. I mean, shelving might be expensive, but not expensive as the lease on the property. But whoo, that's crazy to think about that. You got to all those links that you were referencing, please put it in there or send it to me so I can put it in
I
the show
will.
notes.
I will. I will.
So as we close, that time went fairly quick, and it was well beyond 20. So you listeners out there, you got more than the 20-minute spiel than what we usually do. Ken, I just failed to again introduce you correctly. Can you please tell the listeners who you are and what you do?
Yeah, Kent Lewis is the name. Anvil Media is the day job. It's a measurable marketing agency based in Portland. Been around 20 years, specializing in paid media, SEO, some content strategy, high ROI activities, basically getting our clients in front of their prospects. And you can find me on the LinkedIn at Kent Lewis. Pretty good early adopter URL, easy to find in Google. And then at Kent J. Lewis on the Twitter and other platforms. I hope you'll follow me and connect, and we'll chat.
Yes, absolutely. If y'all haven't already, if this is your first time listening, Ken has been a consistent and long contributor, the longest of them all. I think I'm going to say about 3 years now for the show, which we're happy to have him. And I also want to mention our sponsor, which is NDub Love, NDUBLOV.com. Make sure you go check it out. NDub Love is our sponsor for today. We are focused on bringing a little bit of love to the world by saying, be you, authentically you. We have formal wear, we stay warm wear, and the sun is out wear. So we got some t-shirts and hoodies, especially in the Pacific Northwest. Hoodie is the business casual. Just make sure you wear some good, nice shoes with your jeans with the hoodie, and you be good to go, because that is standard apparel. Just make sure you go to ndublove.com, and we are more than happy to get the orders out to you. It's our apparel company. I'm glad that we got this out. A lot of people, more than typically than I would guess, I said, Nathan, we love your brand, love the logo, we love to support you. And I didn't do it for a couple of years until now. So it is out, ndublove.com. Go check it out. We would love to have your support. So with that, Kent, I wanted to wrap up. What would be your prediction going into 2021 with these platforms? Or maybe someone say, I don't know where I'm going to fit in. How can I use these platforms going into the new year?
Okay, so I would say that the view I would have is with the stats that I shared, knowing you can literally Google the name of the platform and then demographics 2020 or 20. You won't do 2021. Those stats don't exist yet. And then make your own informed decision. Does the age group, does the demographic, is it a match? But what I would also say is from a brand protection, brand management standpoint, claim a profile immediately, just so somebody else doesn't, and reduces confusion. And then you optimize a profile for your brand name and your description. And then you might get some test content up there. People aren't going to, if they start pushing back that we want to see more content, then you just answered your question whether or not it's a valuable platform. But in the meantime, across all platforms, we have the same methodology. Talk to your customers, your internal constituents, your sales and marketing, customer service teams. Is anybody using these platforms or talking about them? Look at your competitors. What are they doing? Look at the industry overall. What are they doing with these platforms, if anything? And then build your own plan based on your marketing and business goals. What makes sense? But once you've claimed and optimized a platform, then that research will inform the content. There's always an advertising opportunity on each of these platforms. And there's a mix that you're going to have to determine of original content plus shared content from third parties. So your clients, your partners, customers, whoever, sharing the love is important. So, whether you read one of my articles on YouTube best practices or podcasting, which Nathan is even more of a black belt than I am, it's everything you use for these different platforms. The media may change, but the best practices stay the same fundamentally. Then you customize for each based on their unique functionality and their unique demographic mix.
Man, and with that, there's nothing more to add to that besides, Kent, if they want to get in contact with you to say, look, we need to measure some of our own digital media, how can they reach you?
Best way is Kent at anvilmedia.com, or visit our website, anvilmedia.com. Check out all the insights in our resources in our insights section, ebooks, articles, blog posts, archived webinars, and you can reach out through that contact form. I do get any contact form I will see, and I can respond and give you as much free advice I can. But if you really want to grow the business, obviously we can help. And in some cases, somebody like Nathan may even be a better fit. It just depends on what you're trying to do and the budgets and the resources.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show today. You killed it, man. And they got double, man. We should have charged for this.
Maybe we should start.
All right, y'all. Thanks for coming on to the show, or downloading the show, or listening to the show, streaming the show, however you're watching this. If you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are downloading, make sure you subscribe to any of the platform that you're listening on. Oh, by the way, Ken, did you know Amazon or technically Audible is streaming now podcasts?
I did not realize that. That makes total sense. How long have they been doing that?
I don't know. I just found out. I did a search. I was like, oh, shoot, we're on Audible now. Interesting. So, yeah, just a little fodder for you. So
Nice.
if you haven't already on iTunes or SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart, whatever platform that you're using, please rate, review, subscribe, and share. Will be greatly appreciated. In case you don't know, the downloads that we get are the ways that we get back up to being one of the top podcasters, well, podcasters and podcasts and hosts, however you want to call it, it's all good. We just want to make sure we get the word out to help those that are looking for this type of service. So with that being said, Kent, again, I want to say thank you, man, and I wish you a happy holiday or days.
Yeah, happy holidays, happy New Year, everybody.
All right, man. Until next time, y'all, thank you for, if it's your first time, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And for those longtime listeners and listeners all over the world, thank you for rocking with us. I wish you the very best. I hope you had a decent 2020. For those listening in the 2021, hey, we're about to give you some more awesome content. So in the meantime, dream big and Godspeed.